Hello everyone, let's continue the reading of Life is Fair book, and the next topic is deserve more happiness, become more deserving. So मैं हर एक पैराग्राफ के वर्ड मीनिंग उस पैराग्राफ को पढ़ने से पहले ही बता दूंगी और उसके बाद में स्मूथली पढ़ लूँगी. सो हमारा जो फर्स्ट पैराग्राफ है उसमें जो वर्ड मीनिंग्स आ रहे हैं उसमें पहला है कम अप. कम अप का मतलब होता है उभरना. दूसरा वर्ड है इंट्रीग्विंग. इंट्रीग्विंग मतलब होता है दिलचस्प, रोमांचक. एंड नेक्स्ट वर्ड है हमारा वो है सोबरिंग. सोबरिंग जो है एक सीरियसनेस के तरीके से यूज किया जाता है, गंभीर, इसका मतलब गंभीर होता है. एंड कंटिनम. कंटिनम का मतलब होता है निरंतरता, लगातार. एंड द लास्ट इज इनकम्पासेस का मतलब होता है समावेश या आवरण करना. सो नाउ स्टार्ट द पैराग्राफ. Science is beginning to come up with some intriguing partial answers to the all-important question of why some people are happier than others. Studies of sets of identical twins, some of whom were raised together and some apart, have found that one half or more of our tendency to be happy is fixed at birth. That is, at least half of the happiness we experience as an adult apparently flows from genetic influences and the rest from the other causes. यानी कि किसी भी हम इंसान को देखते हैं कि वो हंस रहा है, रो रहा है, दुखी है, उदास है, सो उसका 100% रीज़न इस कंट्रोल में नहीं है, बिकॉज 50% जो है उसकी जेनेटिक चीज़ों में है कि जेनेटिकली उसका बिहेवियर 50% तय रहता है कि एडल्ट होने के बाद उसका बिहेवियर किस टाइप का रहेगा, हंसमुख रहेगा, दुखी रहेगा, उदास रहेगा. राइट. सो आगे बढ़ते हैं. इट इज़ अ sobering thought to realize that factors beyond our control produce so much of our happiness or sadness. I am born Zach. 50% of my tendency for future joy and sorrow is determined before I even take my first breath. Can this be fair? Only if our life is a part of a continuum of existence that began long before we were born and will continue long after we die, if not for eternity. This immediately moves us into a broader view of life than our everyday experience usually is able to provide. We need a perspective that encompasses far more than the minute size of existence with which the most of us currently are familiar. यहाँ पे पिक्चर दी हुई है, इसमें लिखा गया है, you can see it. कुछ लोग बात कर रहे हैं, दो लोग आपस में, और बोल रहे हैं I could cry when I think of the years I wasted accumulating money only to learn that my cheerful disposition is genetic. The next heading है There is more to life than meets the eye. यानी कि हम जो इतना आँखों से देखते हैं लाइफ उससे बहुत ज़्यादा है, बहुत बढ़ के है, जो हम देख भी नहीं सकते हैं, इनफैक्ट वो भी है. सो इसमें जो वर्ड्स आ रहे हैं मैं उसका मतलब पहले बता देती हूँ. एड का मतलब है आपका, एड का मतलब है सहायता यानी सहारा देना. पुलसेटिंग का मतलब होता है धड़कता हुआ, राइट, धड़कता हुआ. एंड हाइपोथेसाइज्ड का मतलब होता है परिकल्पना करना. हाइपोथेसाइज्ड का मतलब परिकल्पना करना. होलिस्टिक का मतलब संपूर्ण रूप से, राइट, संपूर्ण किसी चीज़ का पूरा होने का चीज़ दर्शाना. सो स्टार्ट द रीडिंग. उनके वर्ड्स होते हैं. If you are one of the many who believe there is no evidence for any sort of reality beyond the physical world, it may be helpful to remember that even to understand material reality, we have to expand our horizons. Even matter has various levels which cannot readily be known. The page on which these words are printed appears to be solid when viewed with the human eye. Delving deeper with the aid of powerful microscope, this piece of paper would take on a completely different appearance and at the most basic subatomic level. Science tells us that the matter of this page consists of ethereal waves of pulsating energy. If we challenge the existence of the spiritual world because the tools we use to understand material reality do not demonstrate it to us, we may be reacting like a person who denies the subatomic reality of this page because he cannot see it through a magnifying glass. Life is fair. therefore ask you to temporarily suspend some of your assumptions about reality. Entertain the possibility that there is more to life than meets the eye, and that is more can be known by conducting the proper experiments. For the most part, we see our life unfold but fail to realize what produces the circumstances that surround us, our health, our wealth, our loves and hates, our joys and sorrows. If we apply the proven method of scientific investigation, rigorous testing of hypothesized truths to spiritual existence, perhaps we can understand life in a more holistic and meaningful way. The spiritual perspective underlying these arguments arises from the experience of unity at the heart of life. The reader is asked to consider that the separations we commonly make, such as between mind and matter, people and animals, heaven and earth, God and the creation, limit our understanding of a far-reaching moral law. The experience of unity challenges our usual presumptions that a big difference exists between the world out there and the world in here, that is between rocks, clouds, trees, animals, and all the rest of the physical world which we see and hear and touch with our senses, and the seemingly vastly different inner reality of our thoughts, fears, joys, loves, and desires. So the next heading is going beyond reflections of reflections. इसमें जितनी वन मीनिंग्स आ रही मैं बताती हूँ. सो फ्रैक्चर्ड का मतलब होता है दरार, डिसीव मतलब धोखा देना, मायरार मतलब कि न्यूमरस, थियोलॉजियन मतलब धर्मशास्त्री, पॉन्डर मतलब सोचना, बीनीथ यानी नीचे, इल्यूड मतलब बचना, वांटेज मतलब दृष्टिकोण, सुविधाजनक स्थिति, कोनंड्रम मतलब कि पहेली, जटिल समस्या, एंड रिलाय मतलब निर्भर होना. So let's start. If the cosmos is indeed a whole, you might well ask, why does everything appear so fractured? Perhaps this simple experiment provides the beginning of an answer. Stand in front of a large mirror and hold a small mirror in your hand, the glass facing toward your reflection. You will see a hand holding a mirror which contains an image of a hand holding a mirror, which contains an image of a hand holding a mirror, and so on, apparently without end. Amazing, one hand and one mirror produced all of these mirrors, reflections, appearances certainly can deceive. यानी कि जो हमें दिख रहा है वो नकली भी हो सकता है कि हम ऐसी चीज़ को देखें जो एग्जिस्ट नहीं कर रहा, और रियल में इमेज क्या होती है, इमेज किसी चीज़ की बनना, तो डिसीव एक चीज़ से एक तरह से. Similarly, we can think about the world outside or inside of ourselves, and then think about those thoughts, and then think about the thoughts about our thoughts. If we keep on in this fashion, we may even become a great philosopher or a theologian or a madman. Yet no matter how long and how intensely we may reflect upon images of mirrors, within mirrors, or ponder thoughts about thinking, the simple reality of what lies beneath appearances will elude us. We need a higher perspective. You can supply that broader vision yourself in the case of the mirror within the mirror, because you know that you are the one producing the illusion. When you lower your hand, right? When you lower your hand, the images inside the images disappear. You are left with a single reality. However, when thinking about thoughts or feelings, the situation is more complicated. Where is the vantage point on which we can stand and clearly see our own self? Here is the problem. How do I figure out what life is, and therefore how I should live, which includes how I behave toward other forms of life, when I can't even figure out what or who is doing the figuring? This conundrum drives many to rely on faith as the answer to life's biggest questions. Next heading, don't have too much faith in faith. इसकी मैं सारे वर्ड मीनिंग्स बताना चाहूँ। सो यहाँ पे वर्च्यू का मतलब होता है पुण्य यानी कि सद्गुण, अच्छा पॉजिटिव चीज़ में। आई ओ यू इसमें जो वर्ड शॉर्ट लिखा हुआ है इसका मतलब होता है आई ओ यू, राइट। इसका मतलब होता है मैं आपका ऋणी हूँ। पैसों के मामले में हो सकते हैं, कोई फेवर तरीके से हो सकता है कि मैं आपका ऋणी हूँ इस तरीके से। लाई डाउन का मतलब होता है लेटना, राइट। एंड टेरिटरी का मतलब होता है क्षेत्र यानी कि प्रांत, राइट। ओके, सो ये डिवाइड करते हैं। ऑल इन ऑल फेथ इज एन ओवररेटेड वर्च्यू, राइट। एट इट्स बेस्ट फेथ इज अ promissory note for truth, and I owe you to be grasped until the hard coin of certainty is handed over. At its worst, faith gives its holder the illusion of possessing something substantial. A mirage is mistaken for a reality. Since different people often have faith in completely contradictory beliefs, clearly some faith is well-founded and some faith is groundless. लाइक हम जिन भी चीज़ों कथन है ना, किसी भी चीज़ पे मुझे बिलीव कर रहे हैं एकदम आग बंद करके, उसमें से कुछ है जो सही है, जायज़ है, उसका रीज़न है। बट कुछ ऐसा है कि हम बिना रीज़न के किसी चीज़ पे फेथ कर रहे हैं, जस्ट ऐसे ही हवा में धुआं इस टाइप से। So faith is like a signpost that can be made to point either way at a fork in the road. You can have complete faith that you are traveling in the right direction, but if it turns out that you are on the wrong road, you will never get to your destination. Anyone who has become lost while driving a car knows this. Truth then has to lie down one path or the other. If one accepts that there is an objective reality independent of any individual's perception of that reality, any both material science and the spiritual world view tell us that there is, then it seems impossible that completely opposed explanations of existence are both right. So rather than relying on a signpost that swings in one direction then the other, a detailed map of the surrounding area would be a better guide. Using the map to explore the territory yourself clearly would be best of all, since then you would have no doubt about the correct route. Such is the method of science, moving from faith to facts. So that is all in this video. We will continue this in another video.